Hello, everyone. We are back again in the 06 Tutor. Today we are flying over Jamaica Mon. So let's get into the flight. It looks like they put us off the coast here of Jamaica, so we'll turn around and head back towards the mainland Mon. Alright, here we go. And there is Jamaica in front of us. Sangster International, so in Montego Bay. So if you come to Jamaica, this is where you'll be on this side of the island. It's a fairly nice airport. They do not have TSA pre-check. So just so you know, if you're going for the first time and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get TSA pre-check, no such thing there in Jamaica. So you gotta wait in line just like everybody else. But aside from that, Jamaica's a lovely place to visit. And not just saying that, it is a really nice place to visit. Kind of a tourist trap, just like any other, vacation place. They're gonna have the people at the airport trying to hound you to do this and that. Not as bad as Mexico and Cancun, but they could. So if you got all your stuff straight, your transfer from the airport here to wherever you're going, all that stuff is already straight, then you just kind of get your bags, go right on out, and you're set. That's not bad. So the last time I went to Jamaica, so there's the airport Sangster. We come right up this main road here. Took a while to get around the island, but I'm taking you where I went, and it was a nice place. It was an Airbnb. Only downside was what should I call it? It had like a little stairwell that went down along the cliff to like a sunning deck and the water so you could get in to swim. Well, some storm it came through and trashed it, so it was no longer functional. So they had to close that part. So if I wish I'd have known that before booking, that might have deterred me from staying there. But all in all, it had its own private pool. That was good. So I mean, it was someone's residence, again Airbnb, but you had your own little stay in, and it looked out right over the ocean. It was pretty amazing, the views. Only downside again was that little part where you come off the side of the cliff and go down, and not able to access the water there, the ocean being water. But there was a pool, and I was okay with the pool. Not bad. So, yep, just continuing along the coast here. And Jamaica, they drive on the opposite side of the highway. So if you're in the States, we drive on the right. They drive on the left there in Jamaica Mon. So you continue around the road there, and we're coming up here. And this is, what is this? I missed it. Mouth. Yeah, don't remember that. I think we bypassed that. We didn't come down into that. We kept on the road further out, like out that way. Yeah, probably this road here, right underneath me here. Yep, that kept going. Yep, that makes more sense. was a good little jaunt from the airport. Like I said, it took like 45 minutes or so, but we stopped and got some stuff before hitting the Airbnb. So we stopped at a grocery store. The driver was really cool. He took us somewhere. We got some water socks. My girlfriend needed some water socks, so we got some water socks for her. And then we hit the grocery store because it was Airbnb, got some things to cook and whatnot, so that was really good. And we even did an excursion, which don't do too many of those, but we did one, and it was horseback riding. So we got to actually take the horses into the ocean, and you know, they took your picture and all that jazz, try to upsell you, but one person actually lost their iPhone while they were riding in the ocean, and someone actually found it. And this is not using the tracker, you know, find my iPhone or anything. They actually just found the phone. That was like 1 in a million, and it still worked because it hadn't been in the water that long. So that's crazy, right? Yep. All right. And here's another little airport up here, but again, if you're flying into Jamaica, unless you got a private plane or something like that, and it landed at this airstrip here. Discovery Bay. How big is this airport actually? It might just be a local only, like Dustin Crop, something like grassy field. Yeah, I wouldn't land at that airfield. I wouldn't land if I were you. I wouldn't land there if I were you. That's pretty nice. Come on, we just driving all day. All right. Here we go, a few resorts right here. And the Jamaican people are pretty nice. You know, the first time I went to Jamaica back in 1993 was spring break. And I remember it was a choice. My parents wanted to do something for me since I was graduating from college. And so it was a PC or a trip to Jamaica. Well, let's just say spring break trip. Because I picked Jamaica, but I went with the spring break trip. And I love computers. This is probably right before I found a love for computers back a long time ago, but I went with the trip and it was amazing. I remember we got off, you know, the plane at the airport, and you know, we had this little orientation, and they told us, you know, hey, you know, I don't care who you kids are. That's pretty much what they called us, you know. I don't care who you kids are back in the real world, back in the States, but here in Jamaica you will burn. So make sure you put on sunscreen, you know, aloe after you're done in the sun, yada yada yada, because you will burn. So that was the very first thing they taught us. Second thing was don't go anywhere alone. That's be standard, but don't go anywhere alone in Jamaica, especially if you're not in one of the, you know, popular, you know, Montego Bay, Kingston, coming up on Ocho Rios here, someplace like that. You don't want to be by yourself unless you're Jamaican, or yeah, you just don't want to be by yourself, even if you can pass for Jamaican, because they'll quickly determine that you're not Jamaican once they start speaking Jamaican, and you're like, what? So we'll come back to that. Right here is where the boats come in, Ocho Rios here. So right back there is the dock that the big boats come in, and I was not too far down from here. Can we hit the brakes? Cut back on the throttle. Okay, so alright, hit the brakes. this low. How low can you go? Alright, right off here to the right, along, I'll stay somewhere in one of those places right over there along the cliff. So, and, again, the little access way to get down into the ocean was not working because a storm had come through. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. But still had a good trip. So anyway, back to the do not go anywhere alone. That is so true. Boscobel Airport there, that one I probably would land at. That one looks a little more like not a grass runway strip. So, but yeah, don't go anywhere alone. A lot of touristy things to do. Dunn River Falls, all the Jamaicans there tell you don't do it. It's horrible. And if the indigenous population is telling you it's horrible, don't do it, then you should probably not do it. But hey, if you want to say, hey, I did Dunn River Falls, have at it. Just not that much to see. It's not that great anymore. Much rather do something like maybe zip lining or something to that effect. Just because it'll be a little bit more popular. I mean, you got zip lining everywhere. Mexico, Hawaii, pretty much anywhere you go, they got zip lining. But you can say you zip line in Jamaica. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say they zip line in Jamaica, so maybe that's your in. People go to Mexico. Oh yeah, I did the zip lining. Okay, yeah. I know everybody that I know has been to Mexico has done the zip lining. So impress me with something else, right? So, but Jamaica, gotta love the jerk chicken. It's got a little kick to it. The jerk chicken is, I want to say it's their thing. Just like in Hawaii, they got their macadamia nuts. Macadamia nut crusted this and macadamia nut crusted chicken, macadamia crusted fish and salmon and tilapia and everything. Jamaica, they got that jerk spice, man, and they put it on that chicken. It's good stuff. Some of the places, when they have the jerk chicken or the jerk seasoning, some of them are quite strong, and then some of them are not so bad. They got a little kick to it, but not like overly. So if you like spicy, hot stuff, then you'll be fine either way. They do have like I think in Ocho Rios, which we passed, I ate at Margaritaville. Pretty much they have Margaritavilles pretty much in every destination outside the U.S. it seems like. But that was pretty good. There was some shopping down in Ocho Rios, few shops and things like that, ice cream shops and ice cream shops and coffee shops, jewelry stores, get all your touristy type things, your towels, your magnets, shot glasses and all that type of stuff. So, but Jamaica's a real nice place. I'd say advise taking it. Last time I went was 25? 22? Just after COVID. Just at the end of COVID. So I want to say 2022, maybe 23. It was 23. It was over Christmas time and New Year's. Actually New Year's. So it was the end of 22 and the beginning of 23. So it was a good time. And the thing was, my girlfriend and I were looking for something to do. And we were looking, and I want to say the cost to go to Mexico, it was like for like $200 or $300 more, we could go to Jamaica. And she had never been, and I was like, I just went on ahead and booked it. I was like, here you go. I didn't give her a chance to deny her or whatever, because she wanted to go somewhere, so we were going. So I'm like, here it is. We got the ticket. She's like, what? You bought this? Yeah. So I got it. We went to Jamaica. She loved it. I'd go back. I mean, I've been there once, twice, 3 times. I've been there 3 times. She's been there once. I'm not sure if we do the Airbnb again. If we found the right one, maybe. I mean, you can kind of save a few bucks there, but the all-inclusive hotels you know, we're getting a little bit older, and that's kind of the deal of what we want to do, like the all-inclusive type deals. You don't want to be bothered with having to cook and find food and all this other jazz. So who knows? Maybe we'll end up going there. Next trip we're trying to get planned is that Kauai trip. So if you saw the Kauai video, hopefully we'll get back there maybe this upcoming year. In 2026, not doing it in 25. We already got plans for the rest of the year, but maybe next year we can get to Hawaii. You know, it's one of those nice locations to go to as well. So, but Jamaica, man, not a bad place, not a bad place at all. You can barter there just kind of like you can in Mexico. When you go to the shops, you know, hey, yeah, I'll give you this for that. Okay, yeah. And most of the stores are run by non-Jamaicans. We'll just say that, non-Jamaicans. So the Jamaicans don't run any of the gift shops there. A lot of them are run by people from Europe, Middle East, or somewhere else. French, Germany, blah, 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 blah. You know, no Jamaicans. I mean, Jamaicans may work for them, but the Jamaicans don't own the stores, at least in Ocho Rios. That's what I noticed. Pretty much most of them seem to be from the Middle East, the owners and whatnot. So they get their merch, they come there, they sell, and then it's mom, dad, kids, whoever else are just working there, selling the stuff. And Ocho Rios is like the ultimate trap because the boats come in there, so the Carnival cruises or whatever cruise ships, and then they get so much time and they just come and flood those shops. So when you're there, you always ask the locals, like, hey, what day do the boats come in? Because you don't necessarily want to be down there in Ocho Rios the day the boats come in and people are visiting, unless you like to have a huge crowd. So we lucked out because we went, you know, we asked that question and they were like, oh, you don't want to go down there on this day or that day because that's when the boats come in. So if you go on the day the boats aren't coming in, you're going to be set. You're not going to have to deal with that extra 50 people in that little tiny store pushing and shoving, trying to grab stuff. So, and they got nice seafood down there, a couple of seafood places you can get some seafood, and obviously jerk chicken and all that jazz. So, but not bad, not bad. So we're still on the one side of Jamaica. We have not, I think we're coming up here to the end here, but you know, we've been flying for what, 18 minutes now, and we are almost to the end of the island on one side, so we have to come back up the other one. And here's another little airport here, airstrip. So that's grassy, not landing there. So we passed two Sangster, the big international one, and then we passed another one here on this side, and that was pretty decent to land on. So, all right. So we're not going to go all the way to the edge there, as you can see in the top left. We're pretty much there. We're going to just go ahead and zip on over to the other side. Come on over. Come on over, baby. Now the guy, I don't remember his name, but the guy that we had that drove us from the airport to our Airbnb, he kind of mentioned that there's a road now that cuts across the island, like right across, so you don't have to go around. The first couple of times I went there, that road was not there, and you had to go around the whole freaking island. You know, whichever way was the quickest, that's the way you went. But now they have a road apparently that cuts across the middle, and I think they charge you. And he was trying to say how much they charge. Don't remember the charge, but you know, obviously if it's going to save you time and they can make some money, they're going to charge you to cross that road. So but we didn't have a need to because we didn't go to this side of the island. So this side of the island, so on the other side we have Ocho Rios. This side down closer to Montego Bay, I believe we have Negril. And so the first 2 times I went to Jamaica, I went to the Negril area. And the last visit, just a few years ago, went to Ocho Rios. Spring break one was over here in Negril, and that was pretty good. You know, a lot of college kids, crazy college kids from all over, just doing their crazy thing. Did a sunset cruise, sunset booze cruise. Don't drink, but it was a booze cruise. It was pretty good. Negril, is it Negril? Yeah, they had this little place in Negril where you could jump off and do like this cliff diving. Some bar there. It was pretty good. I did not get up the cojones to jump off of there. I kind of just, yeah, that was nice. But this is way before, you know, cell phones and iPhones and all that jazz. This is probably pre-flip phones. I didn't even have a phone. Yeah, back in '93, I don't even think cell phones were a thing. I didn't get my first cell phone until 2000, so that was like 7 years after that. So, but you know, now, you know, GoPros and all that, I'm sure some people got some good footage jumping off that cliff. And there's some bar there, I don't remember the name of it, might even have changed names a few times. So, pretty crazy. And then over here, again, we're not to the grill just yet, kind of prefacing the area before we get to it. So they got this long strip of beach. I don't remember what they called it. 7 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile, 8 mile, blah, blah, blah. And it's got the resorts and stuff. And at the very end of it was, I remember, because the guy I ended up rooming with, he came back. He was from Pennsylvania, some model dude who had his portfolio with him. Don't ask me why he brought his portfolio on vacation, but he did. Anyway, he's probably famous, making thousands of dollars. Because he was a model pretty boy, you know, like Ric Flair, Nature Boy Ric Flair, the pretty boy. Anyway, he came back and he was like, "Oh my God, I was down at the beach and there was naked people out there." So, Negril, back in the day, I don't know if they still do, they had like a new beach towards, I guess we're heading west here, so it would be back towards Montego Bay, so west, so heading the same direction that we're headed. So they might have built up that area now. It might be hotels there, who knows. Just kind of giving you my take on it. Back in '93, stayed at this place called, it's no longer around, I'm sure it isn't, it's called Daniel Vilas, and they had the first 2 floors done. The 3rd floor was being done, and I remember some crazy kids jumped off the 3rd floor area into the pool, and the owner saw that and he quickly ran out and said, no, he doesn't want to be liable for some crazy drunken college kid jumping off the freaking roof of a building into a pool that's 8 feet deep. Was it had to be at least 8, because the guy didn't like die or anything, because it was up pretty high. I want to say it was up probably at least 20 feet, and he jumped off, and I was like, oh my God, he is dead. And he didn't die. He came out the pool okay, but man, that was just insane. So, all right, where are we at now? This looks pretty built up and kind of cool. A little spit coming off of here. Oh, what's this over here? They got another international airport on this side, so you don't have to fly into Montego Bay. What's it called? We're gonna head over there. We're gonna head over there. Because if you're going to Negril, well, I think Sangster is still the closest. Wow, this is all brand new. I mean, did they add this to Jamaica? This little slit over here? Was it called Norman Manley International? It's just yeah, just one runway. Okay. They got little slither of islands off to the side here. Okay. Let's circle back around. We don't want to miss that. Okay, this is Kingston Town. Kingston Town. So Kingston Town, let everyone know. Moving. You hear some Bob Marley. There's another little strip right there. Yeah, it's not like the old days. You would just hear like a lot of Bob. I don't hear a lot of Bob anymore. The crazy thing is you'll hear like your normal songs like here back in the States, you'll just hear them with a reggae beat and vibe, if that makes sense. So I remember back in '93 I heard like a Michael Jackson song, and it was a reggae group singing it, but it was a Michael Jackson song, but it just had a reggae beat to it. And I was like, what the hell what the hell is going on? They're like, yeah, this is blah 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 group mine. They're great. I'm like, they stealing Michael's stuff, man. What the hell? That ain't your song. They stealing Michael. Michael getting his cut from this or what? So, but still a great. I mean, you'll hear anything. You hear something by like a country song that's reggae, got the reggae beat. You know, oldies, goodies, and then some stuff that's just straight up reggae stuff. As you can see, Jamaica is pretty good. We're at 27 minutes flight time. And we still have a ways to go up the island here. So this is not part you'd probably be over. We probably should be further over to the right over there. I'm just kind of trying to take us around the outside of the island. So I don't see any landmarks over there. There's something over there. Can't see it too far. Okay, there's the big map. Yeah, we got this little spit coming up here. So we'll go down A6 style, down to the deck. That altimeter is messed up. Okay. Got a little industry, little stuff over here on the side. One strip there. All right. Taking it straight west now. Gonna cut off a little bit of the island tour over there because this is, as you can see, this is all trees and stuff. You're not coming out here. No one's out there. Nobody's out there. Hayes, never heard of it. There's another little airport. And again, you can see, there's some houses over here. Not much, but a few. There's another airport. Wow, there's a lot of little airports all over Jamaica, but I guess they need little airports here and there. And the famous crop circles from the aliens right there. Just saying. How do they do that? There's rest. Could stop there and get a little bit of rest. Or maybe not. Very nice. We are now at about 31 minutes flight time. Still going around Jamaica, man. What else can I tell you about Jamaica? Yeah, so they drive on the opposite side of the road. First 2 times I did all-inclusive, and that was good. The first one was a sandals resort. I actually got married there to the ex-wife. Shout out to the ex-wife. But the resort was Sandals Resort. I don't even know if they rebranded it. It's not called the same thing. I think it was called White House back in the day. And that took forever to get there from the airport. I'm talking forever. Because this is before that road I was telling you about that cut across the island, so you had to pretty much go all the way around the island. It was horrible. And it was this shuttle van, you know, like 15 passenger van, I believe. Yeah, it was. And these little rinky-dink roads, it was going around on the edge of the side of the, you know, island on a cliff, looking over that drops down a couple hundred feet. Was not happy looking out the window. Yeah, and some car broke down on one corner, and we almost missed our flight leaving that day because of that. They couldn't get the truck started or something. They were trying to get it pushed out of the way, but I mean, when the road's barely big enough for 2 people, 2 cars going by each other, where are you pushing the car to? Right, where are you pushing it to? There is no little pullover lane that you can, you know, push it over to. So, what else? The food was pretty good. You know, the all-inclusive food was good. Really good food. You know, you had everything. You know, since it was a resort, all-inclusive, they got, you know, American food, Chinese food, Italian, you know, several different restaurant options. I do know they had like a little coffee place that had coffee, all kinds of coffees, espressos, lattes, all that jazz, and desserts. So anytime I went by there, I was grabbing something good. Just say that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get one of those little coffee cakes and an espresso or a latte, and that was good. First trip there, when I got married, I also got resort certified to scuba dive. So we went out, well not we, I did, because actually the wedding got pushed back a day because right when we were supposed to get married at 4, the heavens decided to open up and, you know, start raining. So we got it pushed to the next day. My ex-wife was not having it inside. She wanted to get married on the beach. So we pushed it to the next day, but the next day I had a scuba thing planned. So we got married, and as soon as we got married, then I had to go to scuba, right? So went through the training there in the pool, and that was decent, but my just call it the regulator, the breathing apparatus, something was not right with it. It was not giving me enough oxygen. So I don't know if it was just a bad one or the valve needed to be turned to give me more air, but I had to really suck in to get enough air, so I got through the training, did all that stuff, shared with a partner because they got a secondary one. If someone runs out of air, you got another apparatus so you can share. Air goes twice as fast out of your tank, but you can at least share and get to the surface. I was a little nervous going out into the ocean that next day because I was like, my shit ain't working right. Something ain't right. I don't want that. I gotta worry about keeping an eye out looking for sharks and stuff. Okay, maybe not sharks really, but seen Jaws. Anytime you get in the ocean, yeah, you're looking for a shark because you don't want to be that guy, right? You don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy that gets eaten up by the shark, right? Anyway, so my wife, she had some Xanax, so she's like, oh, you should take this. This will make you not so anxious or whatnot. So I think I took a half of one, and I was like, chill, right? I was like, this is cool. I'm okay. And, so I got out to the boat. They checked the number of people going, yada yada. We all got squared away, and we got out, and the guy was like, hey, where you guys want to go today? Because I was the only new person there. Everybody else had gone out like the last couple of days because they're like legit scuba divers that, that's their thing. So, so they picked a spot. They wanted to go see the shipwreck, yada yada yada. So it's like, okay. So we get there. They stop the boat, put down the ladder or whatever it is, go over a few other things, and then the dude was like, who all's partnered with who? And then, usually it was a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, but here I am by myself because my wife is not there, ex-wife is not there because she's back preparing for the wedding. Actually, it was before the wedding, not after the wedding. She's preparing because she can't get her hair messed up, you know what that is with women. Can't get her hair messed up. So, everybody's paired up but me, and he goes, all right, you'll be with me. I'm the dive master. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And he goes, put your stuff on, man. We're getting in the water first. And I'm like, no, let these other people go. I don't want to hold them up. He goes, well, you're holding them up now by not having your stuff on. I'm like, what the fuck? So I rush and I get my stuff, put on my, whatever the thing is, the BD, whatever the life vest with the tank on it, turn the valve like they told me in the training class and hooked up this and turned it. Okay, it seems to be going. I was like, he's like, you ready to get in? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, ain't somebody gonna check my stuff, make sure it's right? He goes, did you do what they told you to do? Yeah, you should be good, man. Then he said, test it when you get in the water. If you can't get in the air, then we'll figure something out. But if you can't breathe, then don't go under the water. I was like, wow, that's reassuring, right? Not. So, got in the water, everything's good. It works, and it was easy to breathe. It was not heavy. We're getting off the edge of the island here, too, so we're cutting back. And so it was easy to breathe. That was good. So we get in and you let the air out of your vest. That's how you descend into the water. You let your air out. So I did that, and I was only able to go down about 20-25 feet, which is resort certified. I don't think you can go any further than that with resort certification. But I couldn't go any further because the weights that I had on did not keep me, they didn't weigh me down, in other words. So I put on the same amount of weights that I had in the swimming pool, and the swimming pool is chlorine, mind you, and the ocean is salty, so you're a little more buoyant in the ocean. Anyway, so I didn't have on enough weight. So anytime I tried to go down a little bit further, I always came back up to about 20, 25 feet or what have you. So let's say it was 25 feet. I would go down and then I'd come back up to about 20, and that's where I would equalize at. Like, this is where everything is kind of holding me at right now. So that was kind of funny, but now I know I'll never scuba dive ever again. But if you do, make sure you put on enough weights to hold you down. So I got through the whole thing. It was fun. I'd do it again. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it again. My girlfriend now probably would not do it, just because. So if I did it, I'd have to do it alone. So it's kind of something, if you have a partner or something to do with, that would be kind of good, because you never dive alone. You know, that's just a safety thing. You just don't want to be diving alone. So but that was a scuba thing for that. You know, they had like a white party, etc., etc. And I believe the second time I went to Jamaica, it was during Super Bowl time, and the Steelers were playing Green Bay, and I want to say it was a Super Bowl game. It might have been the playoff game before the Super Bowl game. I can't remember. I just know Pittsburgh lost and I was upset. I think it was a close game, but Green Bay won. So shout out to Green Bay, I guess. But it wasn't horrible. Alright, we are at flight time 41 minutes, and we are coming up on Sangster, and I think we're gonna put her down here. So we're going to just go ahead and hit the brakes. So we've gone around the whole island of Jamaica. That's the runway off to the left over here. V6 is down. I'll slide off the runway there though. And there you have it. We have flown around the island of Jamaica from Sangster, airborne of course. And now we have just landed here. And I'm not going over there, we'll just take it across here to General Aviation Parking over here. And that's it. impressive. Oh, where is that parking brake? Mm. Yeah, I don't remember what the parking brake is. The canopy. Bust the canopy. And the wing folds. Wing folds. And I'm holding the brake so that we don't move. It's usually a big switch for the brakes. And they're usually, oh, there it is, right there. Brakes on, there we go. Cool as mud. And there you have it. Sorry about the brakes, but we got it. That was about, let's see, 44 minute flight time around the island, 45 minutes or so. So, and now we are sitting in general aviation parking at Sangster Airport. And thanks for flying, your friendly Basics intruder.